Deana, Ameriprise recently released its Parents and Finances study. We learned all about the financial health of parents and their children. So from an overall perspective, what did you learn?
Sure thing. So first of all, we know from the study that parents find joy and purpose in parenthood, but they said that they found it harder, both financially and emotionally, than they expected. We know that they want to make sure that they can do the best for their children, and they're concerned that the trade-offs they're making today can impact their long-term financial future. Certainly, the recent uncertainty, market volatility, adds to that pressure and concern about those trade-offs.
Can you expand on that a little bit about how parents are dealing with the volatility? Because even experienced investors are having a hard time with all these wild market swings. Yeah. So I can imagine if parents, they're saving for college, saving for other things, it must be really hard on them.
It is absolutely hard. And in fact, what they told us, even before the most recent volatility, that their number one concerns were, in fact, inflation and the health of the U.S. economy. What we would say is that to make sure that they can avoid making emotional decisions about their money, stay focused on what's important to them, both their near-term and their long-term goals.
And if parents are trying to raise financially savvy children, what should they be telling their kids, especially in an era of uncertainty?
Sure. I think the number one thing is actually to talk about money. We know that kids will hear things about the market uncertainty, and they'll talk to friends, they'll hear news. And if parents can have age-appropriate conversations about money, starting from very young, it will help kids feel safe and stay informed. That can look like things like talking about how to make decisions about whether to go on a vacation or how to spend money on a house or a pet or what have you. I think those things can help kids understand that there are day-to-day trade-offs relative to money, and that they can have those conversations in a confident way and be comfortable that it's okay to talk about money.
And what about how hard it is to earn it? Can you expand on that?
Certainly, it is hard to earn it. And here we are working on that every day. I think one of the things I like to have kids start to think about as they get older are there some ways that they can, in fact, start to earn some money themselves? We see things like even as simple as saving money from the tooth fairy. But as kids get into their teenage years, it could be babysitting, it could be a paper route, and having some control over their own money and start to make decisions for themselves can be really beneficial. They can start to see those trade-offs for themselves. Do they spend money on a treat today or a new sweater today, or do they want to save that maybe for college or for something in the future?
And when you talk about saving, can you talk about introducing kids to investing? I mean, we are here at the NASDAQ, so
Sure.
Is there a right age where you can say, something, maybe now is a time where you should learn about stocks and bonds and maybe putting your money into a vehicle where you might get a little bit more yield or something to that effect?
I think, again, having those conversations are important. Kids pay attention to brands. And so helping them understand what those brands might be that they like, that are meaningful for them, I think can be really important. And perhaps as they get gifts, maybe for birthdays or for Christmas or other holidays that might be appropriate, they could take that money and set it aside to start to see how the market works, to see how stocks and bonds may work. That will make it real for them because it's a company that they know and they pay attention to.
And then finally, can you talk about how Ameriprise works with parents and how Ameriprise's wealth managers work with parents to make sure that they're confident that they'll be able to pay for college or pay for something else and make sure their kids are taken care of?
Certainly. So I think the first thing that's most important that advisors can do for parents is to start to talk about what their goals are, both near term, what are their priorities, and what are their longer term priorities. So what does retirement look like for them? How do they want to contribute to their kids' education, whether that be college or other types of education? And they can start to understand what are the resources they have at their disposal, how can they maximize those resources so that they can balance those day-to-day expenses with longer-term needs. And I think advisors can help parents stay accountable to those goals, remind them of why it was they were making those decisions and taking those actions. I think that ultimately is the most important thing that they can do.
All right, well, thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Thank you. Happy to be here.